Hey guys, and welcome back to Making Pressure Creatures in 3D. Today we are making the Death Angel. This is a very interesting one in my opinion, because if you actually go and play the main game, you will probably never encounter this guy. He can only be spawned in a dev server, or if you're playing with a dev or like some type of special case. So I find that very fascinating in a game sense. Like, I don't even think he fits in the lore at all, but maybe he does. You could tell me in the comments if he does. This one was probably one of my more challenging ones because, you know, it's very different in the way of like, okay, so is this like the Angel of Death or the Grim Reaper in some type of way? I find it very fascinating why this is kind of it. Also, if you were wondering why that there's two of me, it's because I actually stream. So if you ever want to follow me in real time, I will be streaming every so often, and new projects, new stuff. You can always ask me questions, ideas, and all that stuff on my YouTube channel at any time. Just if you get the notification, please click on it. You don't have to, of course. If you go back a little bit, you can see me sketching this out and writing down ideas because I actually let chat decide what I should do with it, which chat decided to make him have a spine, wings, bone wings, hands, all this different stuff. And it's very interesting, but here you can see I'm making the spine and I'm gonna soon make the wings. So after I kind of used the base shapes to make the spine and the head and everything like that, I started to make his wings, which I actually based them on real life bird or bat wings. And I actually love the way it came out in the end, which you'll see soon. I think this is probably one of my more detailed and very, very, very cool creatures that you'll see. I added a lot of bone detail, I added a lot of this and that to it, and I hope you like it at the end. I was very surprised that I could do all of that. I had never made bones before, so make sure to always challenge yourself when you're doing these 3D stuff. But you can see here that I'm using a reference, and I look like I'm struggling with like this inner bone where they kind of separate. Yeah, it was surprisingly hard. I think it was because the subdivision wasn't really wanting to work, and then the bridging loop didn't want to work either for some apparent reason. But I am right here making the base shapes of the bones, and then I'm just extruding and kind of figuring it out. You know, asking chat what they think, you know, how is it going? What is this? What is that? You know, how do I like it? And I love the real-time interaction. Sadly, there isn't really a description to go off of when you're looking at the Death Angel, which I find very fascinating. The only description I could find was on the Wikipedia, and it just said it was like a human-like skull, so I tried to give it more human-like properties, but I did give it skin in the end. So, because even though it's like a skinny skull, I don't know if it would have skin or not, so that's kind of more of my decision. I did actually not really like this design because, well, I kind of messed up, and that's kind of on me. You know, when I was reading about it in the human-like skull, I was kind of winging it, but a lot of you guys mentioned, you know, it's probably best that you separated the skull, because even in the picture, the freaking skull is separated. So I actually discarded this first skull and remade the entire thing from the ground up, and then later I remastered it and recreated it, which you'll see very, very soon. So, after making the base shapes, because you gotta always have your base shapes, please. The principles are right here, okay? They need that base shapes, because base shapes create good kind of like starting point, and then later you can actually go and then sculpt it and, you know, really get into it. I think I just hit the microphone. Whoopsie doopsie. That is a real thing. I'm probably just going to keep that in. I just actually full on whacked you guys. I apologize. Okay, but your base shape needs to freaking be there. It needs to. Because if you don't have your base shape, you don't have any good starting point. So I kind of like stretched and weaved and I got a good shape. And then I'm going to now go in and sculpt it manually. And you'll see how I really make this into a skull. I really wanted to give this guy more of like a stretch, elongated, like distorted face, just like all the other fishes. And I really wanted to stress out, like, I really wanted to show his gums. Because when I put the teeth in, his gums will become more like showy. You'll see it right then and there. Like there's giant freaking gums, there's gross back gums and all this yucky stuff, and you'll see that way more. Here I wanted to show like the decayingness of this skeleton that's just kind of rotting here. It's probably still alive, but just like barely. Still like in this rotting state of like, of course, death. Says it in the name. And I wanted to show that even through the wings, even through the neck bones, all of that decaying, broken, rotting look. But it's just like holding on to like the skin that it has. I also just wanted to mention that I am completely willing to make door entities. Recently, Doors 2, or Doors Floor 2, I guess, has came out and it looks amazing. I've been trying to do some videos on it, but please make sure you smash that like button and comment if you guys really want to see like Sneak or the Figure or any of the new creatures like the weird bug creatures or the smile creature in realistic 3D version, like all like kind of reimagined and a new idea, new stuff. And I could even, contemplating on it, make the environments of like the mines, or maybe even I recently saw that Pressure updated with Chainsmoker new kill effect, and it looks awesome. It's like this whole other world, and if you guys want to see that super realistic and 3D kind of reimagined, then make sure to please comment that. I would love to make that. Just make sure you tell me. Here I am adding the teeth to the creature, but you probably already noticed the second set of wings. Isn't that interesting? I am trying to make a second set of wings because in my imagine of this creature, like my reimagine, I guess, or my imagination, I imagine him more as like a biblically accurate angel. So later I'll add even more wings to give him more intimidation. I think that really gave character an idea. Please tell me what you think about in the comments. But here I am adding his individual teeth. I kind of duplicated a bunch, but I really was a struggle to kind of figure out the teeth because there's so many and there's like kind of cracks or this weird like flakes coming off of him. And I think that's just because half of his body's kind of in the smoke, just like the description said on the Wikipedia. But I really like the teeth, and you guys tell me an opinion about it, and maybe I should change it, maybe I should change it later. I don't know. Tell me what you think about it. But later I'm going to texture him, and I think I did a really good job on the texturing. Tell me what you think. Here comes one of the more fun parts, in my opinion, which is the texturing. Now, I use my iconic monster texturing, which I might release soon. What do you want? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. I might. I don't know. Tell me what you think about it in the comments. But it has veins, like skin wrinkles, roughness, all that stuff. And if you use it correctly, you can make these crazy creatures. I actually surprisingly struggled with this creature because it was like, it's a weird mixture of like blues and pinks and purples. It was very interesting, and I had to kind of figure it out back and forth. I love the design of it, but with this, transferring it to skin was surprisingly hard. I don't know exactly what challenged me, just the entire thing was kind of challenging. I also wanted to create more of this rough texture to it, but in the end, I feel like I was decently proud with it, and you guys, of course, can tell me in the comments what you guys think about it. The teeth are coming up soon, which was even more of a challenge because it had more of a gradient, but I'll go into it a little bit later. So here comes one of the more challenging parts, and it was the teeth. I tried at first using the skin texture because I actually recently been doing a different project, and I was just testing around, and surprisingly, the skin texture worked very well as a tooth texture or a bone texture, which I was shocking. It was very shocking to me. But I decided to say, okay, nah, and just scrap it from the beginning and recreate my own teeth texture because it has a gradient, which a gradient is kind of like two colors that slowly blend into each other, which you can see here. It blends into a purple, then a light blue into a white, into a light blue into a purple, and that's completely fine. A really, really cool and very nice color palette, but it was weirdly challenging to translate onto the teeth. Later, you can see that I add more of an ambient occlusion when I figure out the teeth, and I also add cracks to it, like these teeth are rotting. And I really think that this added a lot of character to it because, of course, if you just add the gradient, it's just a gradient, it's just a color that's transporting or whatever, that's blending between two colors. But I love the color, and you'll see how that really turned out. Hey guys, I wanted to just kind of pop in real quick. because I find this very fascinating how I'm kind of doing these arms. And if you look here at the creature, at the monster, at the crazy creature, I'm kind of bending these arms to the way it would work in like a bird, right? You got this little arm, like his like shoulder, and then you got the main like, you know, muscle arm right here, and then his forearm here, and then you got the hand here with his palm in the middle, all these type of hands. And you'll see how I'm doing here. I'm doing this like this is his right here. Hold on. Yeah. Got that. This is his palm right here. Right? Then we have his pointer finger, which is probably going to be this one right here. We're going to make this larger. This be that part of the wing. Like, you have to kind of imagine what it might look like as a human being. So I just did all of that, and I mirrored the wings, but now you can see how the hand has turned into the wings. Rigging is probably one of the more challenging points, especially when you're kind of making this really advanced, I wouldn't say full-on advanced, but pretty advanced creature with a lot of different moving parts. In the end, I did just like move him a little bit, and I didn't really fully rig him because rigging this character was kind of very struggling, and I, you know, want to get out this content for you guys. So I didn't really fully rig him, but you'll see in the final that it still is moving and all that good stuff. So speaking of the final, I'm gonna get to the beauty shots very, very soon. Here is the creature in all its glory. I really, really loved making this creature, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. Thank you guys again for the support that you've been giving me in this video and all of my channel. I just hit 7,000 subscribers, and let's keep on going strong and maybe even hit 10,000. I would love that, guys, so much. Just by the way, I do have two images that I wanted to show. One was the big giant wingspan that I created for this creature, and then this first one that you see here. Also, remember that I will be completely willing to make door entities like Seek, Figure, other ones from Door Floor 2. I would love to. Just make sure to hit that like button and comment if you want that. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and peace out.